Your Excellency President Nana Addo, former president, by reducing the scale of the event, the state spent 15 million Ghana cedis on last year's celebration in Kofi and spent 13.7 million cedis on the previous year's celebration. This year, we received estimates of at least 20 million Ghana cedis for holding the event at the Independence Square on the same scale as the previous year. Today's event would save us 95% of the estimated cost of the event.
Abusua match be edin sem enam I 28 million Ghana cedis here. Yedi 6 match. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama at say chirim. Say I kronubi akoso. Enuntina this year 6 match. Oye anajun say 95% ubitam I no save Ghana of 20 billion Ghana cedis. Na abusua His Excellency Nana Dankoko Fado enko piemu ewo dwumadi na sibi. Na in fact yasi obiemu no akase obiemu na ai because time na Exp0se no ekoso na Addo ohene nimu a na we mu na abusua haye AHINTASEM TV unu say asem ne ba edomasuko na de aba besomo Prophet Badu Kobi ensu amuna ai enkoko nketengete we mu na adentia Prophet Badu Kobi aden DNSC Excellency John Dramani Mahama why ordain abusua 6 March bi edin sami endam na yenkon sami mu Excellency John Dramani Mahama ade 6 March we oyana dwen se obekate cost an na chese enyema ekoso e 6 March musika yede ye no obetwa so buburija na chese etimi asevi oman no na no ene nam so emani deliver the speech no watch him just say 15 million last year and yede year 15 million Ghana cedis and yede year 6 March and after previous years yetimi the 30 million okabuma 28 million and yede year na this year budget amodro edebe kire no say 20 million Ghana cedis and yede be 6 March no say adey His Excellency Nana Dankoko Fado, former president, and you be a Ghana yadika, and Wobros Akabu nyina di go up. Name one of the 95% was shegu into oil papa chua be said be ya. Ghana former bru any day, a benya jumaya na mipacho. A bra workers are 7. Now His Excellency Nana Dankoko Fado not to be. Now where Addo Nanimua to me Adena go ye. I anko yamano na no na Prophet Badu Kobi enkodru enkoko nketenkete so no in fact wanusu muni ya wadi kum na ayi wo manimu a utimi say yes enkrofo adwa sa 68 years ya Ghana yedi enkrofo adwa papa na me pa Charles Excellency John Dramani Mahama wo cheche nsemu de ntia wodi sika papa chua bi ena eye celebration no eni na niso adu hunu papa eden ni so na mpanifo biom ko pia ase bie ana ma asemi adani asem His Excellency Nana Dankoko Fado, former president madam dimina no bajo ye hwani nyina amra ani asem a John Dramani Mahama kan ya akofa bufuo eni nchinuaso abai entie no.
Your Excellency the Vice President of the Republic of Ghana, Professor Jane Nana Opoku-Agyeman, the Right Honorable Speaker of Parliament, Your Ladyship, the Chief Justice, Your Excellency, Chairman of the Council of State and members of the Council of State, Your Excellency, President John Agyekum Kufuor, former President of the Republic of Ghana, Your Excellency, President Nana Addo, former President of the Republic of Ghana, and our special guest, Your Excellency, President kyei, former President of the United Republic of Tanzania, Ministers of State, Honorable Members of Parliament, Nime, Name, our traditional rulers, religious leaders, our service chiefs, our troops, school children, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, friends of the media, and good people of Ghana. I wish you all a happy independence anniversary. 10 years ago, during the 58th independence anniversary, we implemented reforms to the annual Independence Day parade. This reform eased the burden of thousands of school children who march, sparing them from hours of standing in the scorching sun. They formed up on the parade ground only when it was time for their march past and presidential acknowledgement. A few years ago, the previous administration also implemented reforms, deciding to rotate the hosting of Independence Day celebrations among the regions of our country. This initiative was intended to bring the celebration closer to all our people. Unfortunately, this year we are constrained not only to interrupt the celebration's rotation amongst the regions, but also to hold it on a scaled-down version here at the forecourt of the presidency instead of the traditional Black Star Square. This is necessary considering the economic crisis our nation is currently experiencing. Large-scale celebrations often come with significant logistical, security, and infrastructure costs, which strain the national budget. By reducing the scale of the event, we wish to demonstrate a commitment to fiscal responsibility and the efficient use of our limited resources. Fiscal prudence has become imperative for navigating the severe economic crisis that has recently confronted our country. The state spent 15 million Ghana cedis on last year's celebration in Kofi and spent 13.7 million cedis on the previous year's celebration in Ho, in the Volta region. This year, we received estimates of at least 20 million Ghana cedis for holding the event at the Independence Square on the same scale as the previous years. In a year when we are calling on all to sacrifice, including workers who have graciously accepted a base pay adjustment far below the rate of inflation, it is unconscionable to spend that kind of money on a few hours of celebration. Today's event would save us 95% of the estimated cost of the event. Nonetheless, this scaled-down celebration does not diminish the importance and significance of this occasion in any way. Ghana's independence is the single most important event in our history, as it sets out us on the path of nationhood. It is even more significant because it lit the flame of independence in sub-Saharan Africa by inspiring other countries yoked to colonial exploitation to seek independence and self-determination. This day must therefore always be commemorated, but when reality calls for a different approach, we must heed it and act accordingly. Moreover, hosting the celebration here at the presidency preserves the symbolic essence of Independence Day while demystifying the seat of government. Fellow compatriots, Independence Day celebrations serve as an opportunity for us to remember our nation's struggle for freedom and to honor the sacrifices of our forebears who led that struggle for self-rule. It reinforces our national identity, our unity and patriotism, while offering a moment for reflection on our progress and the challenges ahead. It presents an opportunity for us to recount our history, picking the lessons it teaches and thereby forging a new path for progress and development. Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, the founder of our nation, envisioned an industrialized, self-reliant Ghana, whose citizens have the highest standard of economic life and the greatest sense of self-esteem rooted in patriotism and Pan-African unity. But on February 24, 1966, a joint military and police coup d'etat shattered that dream, plunging Ghana into decades of instability and military takeovers. The verdict of history is now loud and clear. Declassified documents from the United States archives revealed that this was a coup inspired and engineered by the CIA. This remains the most regrettable and darkest moment in our nation's history. That moment sparked a series of historical events that have set us back and significantly delayed our attainment of the objectives of nationhood. We have had moments of triumph and moments of anguish. We have now blossomed into a fully fledged democracy with a healthy culture of peaceful power transfers. We must, however, remind ourselves that democratic participation transcends just the act of voting. It is fundamentally about accountability and the security needed to demand it. It is about safeguarding the people's freedoms and rights and fulfilling the promises of socio-economic prosperity enshrined in our founding document. Our history is complex, marked by struggle, resilience, and renewal. But through it all, one truth stands firm. The unbreakable will of the Ghanaian people has ensured that no matter the twists and turns, our democratic spirit endures and our destiny remains in our own hands. While we reflect on our journey, we must also review our standing today. We must assess our economic outlook, education and human resource development, natural resource management, national security, and our governance arrangements. It is essential for us to conduct a thorough review of our healthcare system, agriculture and food security, infrastructure and urban development, and the role of science, technology, and innovation. In this era of green transition, we must recognize our unique circumstance that is a nation rich in natural resources, yet vulnerable to climate change, and we must chart a path that balances sustainability with economic growth. 18 years ago, as we marked our Golden Jubilee, 50 years of independence, we celebrated offshore gas and oil and gas discovery. It was a moment of great optimism, promising a new era of economic transformation and attracting significant investments into Ghana's petroleum sector. However, in recent years, poor choices have stunted our prospects and left us reeling from serious challenges. This stark reality, far from dampening our spirits, must spur us on to strive for rapid development. For if our forebears, armed with far less, did not permit their backs to be broken by a repressive and exploitative colonial administration representing an imperial power, how can we, their progenies, armed with far more, despair in the face of these challenges? Rather than perpetually decrying our failures, every anniversary of our independence must present an opportunity for us to account for the legacy we are building for our next generation. We of this generation are merely custodians of this country and resources. They are entrusted to us to manage them wisely today for the generation of tomorrow. These independence anniversaries must therefore be a moment of reflection, not on what we have done for ourselves, but on how well we have stewarded national assets for those we will hand them over to in the future. Our story cannot be one of missed opportunities. It must be one of continued effort to achieve far more than we can boast of now. Posterity will not accept our failures or take them kindly. As President, I am committed to providing the bold leadership and the clarity of vision that is needed to navigate the turbulent economic waters we are sailing in currently, while safeguarding our future. Discussions about our independence often highlight our reliance on imports, on donor aid, and IMF bailouts as signs of continued dependence. This reminder is repeated so often that while undeniably real, it risks becoming a cliché. Yet the entire efficacy of this reminder lies not in just repeating it, but in our willingness to take decisive action. Actions that will break the chain of dependency, not just the empty rhetoric of an Africa that is beyond aid. Proclaiming self-reliance while marching straight back to the donors, into the hands of the donor agencies, begging bowl in hand, is really meaningless. To break this cycle of dependence and reset our economy, my administration is formulating policies based on fiscal discipline and living within our means. We're striving to expand our economy to yield prosperity for all. And to do this, look within and make sure that we're raising revenue domestically. This administration is working to implement the 24-hour economy program to ensure that our economy never goes to sleep. This will allow us to create the necessary job expansion, boost productivity, increase our exports capacity and trade footprint, and also reduce our dependence on foreign aid. The US $10 billion Big Push initiative will also modernize our infrastructure. It will create jobs. It will stimulate local industry, ensuring that our development is driven from within rather than funded from outside. Agriculture remains our biggest opportunity to reduce import dependence. With over $2 billion spent annually on food imports, the Agriculture for Economic Transformation agenda is structured to strengthen local agribusiness and ensure food security. The Feed Ghana program will drive mass food production and stabilize food prices. At the same time, the Poultry Farm to Table initiative, otherwise referred to as Nkukong Kitenkete program, will boost domestic poultry production and processing to directly address our 95% reliance on imported poultry products. The success of these policies depend on active citizen participation, particularly from our young people. The AgriNext program will equip 30,000 young people with land, training, and agribusiness opportunities. Farmer service centers in every district will provide access to mechanization services, quality seeds and fertilizer to boost local food production. My brothers and sisters, this is a defining moment, but policies alone, no matter how well couched and no matter how well intentioned, will not change our reality. Action will change that reality. As President, I'm taking the necessary action to create growth opportunities and enhance our economic independence. Young Ghanaians must step up to the plate, seize these opportunities, and contribute to building a self-sufficient nation. Ghana's economic future is in your hands. Fellow Ghanaians, the 1992 Constitution has provided a stable framework for governance and delivered the most extended period of constitutional democracy in our nation's history. However, like any enduring legal and political framework, it has flaws and loopholes. Recognizing the need for refinement, the late President John Evans Atta Mills initiated a constitutional review process in 2010, leading to the establishment of the Constitutional Review Commission. The previous administration of Nana Addo also undertook some constitutional review. Considering evolving national and global dynamics, I have constituted a new review committee to undertake a comprehensive and inclusive reassessment of our Constitution. This endeavor is essential as the strength of our democracy, the integrity of our constitutional order, and the rule of law requires continuous renewal. We must not allow weaknesses in our governance framework to fester until they threaten national stability. Instead, we must take proactive steps to reinforce the very foundation of our democracy. I therefore urge all Ghanaians to participate in this process. I do not speak as President, but as your son and brother, in whose hands you have entrusted a solemn duty. The people of Boku and other areas, it is time for lasting peace to prevail. Our children deserve to inherit a peaceful land where their dreams are nurtured, not where their nightmares are relived. They deserve to inherit a land where our markets are bustling with trade, not tension and conflict. They deserve to inherit schools that echo with learning and not melancholy. Let us not be swayed by division, mistrust, and the weight of past injuries. Let us give renewal of friendship a chance. Let us give peace a chance. This is not an invitation to simply forget the past. Far from it. It is an invitation to live above it. Fellow countrymen and women, 2 years from now, our dear nation Ghana will celebrate its 70th anniversary of independence. This is our moment in history. We have endured trials, we faced challenges, and carried the burden of our struggles, but we have never given up. Through every storm and shadow, we have kept the flame of hope alive. And now, at this critical juncture, we must rise with courage, determination, and unwavering belief that a brighter future is just within our grasp. Let us reflect on the great movements that have transformed the world, the movements that have liberated us from the bonds of colonialism, and the voices that shaped our path to democratic rule. Before these, people thought it was impossible. It is not impossible for us to create a better life for our people. It was ordinary people, workers, dreamers, farmers, students, the young and the old, who refused to accept the way things were. They marched, they spoke out, they struggled, and eventually they prevailed. From African liberation movements to the fight for civil rights, from the pursuit of democracy to the battle against poverty and inequality, one lesson stands clear. When people unite with a common purpose, nothing can stand in their way. As I said before Parliament, we shall live the dreams of our forebears in our lifetime. This is not just a promise, it is a call to action. Let this be our mission to rise above fear, to silence the voices of doubt, and to harness the strength within us to create a future that is fair, that is prosperous, and that is inclusive. Let us move forward together side by side, knowing that every sacrifice we make today will prepare the way for generations yet to come. I thank you very much, my fellow countrymen and women, and I wish you all a happy Independence Day.
Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, that was the 68th Independence Anniversary Address by the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Ghana Armed Forces. Shall we please give him a round of applause? Please be seated. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the parade commander will now invite the Forces Sergeant Major, Chief Warrant Officer Addo to lead the contingent to give 3 hearty cheers to the President of the Republic of Ghana and Commander-in-Chief of the Ghana Armed Forces.
Forces Sergeant Major, to the front. Let's go!
Chief Warrant Officer Addo attended Nkwanta Secondary School in the OT region of Ghana for his ordinary level certificate and Kumasi Polytechnic for Royal Society of Arts accounting option. He holds a higher national diploma in accounting from the same institution.
Good morning, Your Excellency. May I have your permission to carry on with the year, Your Excellency? Yes, Your Excellency.
Warrant Officer Addo Daniel was awarded with the Long Service and Good Conduct Medal, where he attained 15 years in the service with unblemished record.
Remove headdress. Remove. 300 years for the reviewers, the president, and the commander-in-chief of the Ghana Armed Forces, His Excellency, President John Dramani Mahama. Yay! 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 Hey! Yay! Awuah bilivo, jata bilivo, oyine. Awuah bilivo, jata bilivo, oyine. Yeah, 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 Ghana, yeah, Ghana, yeah, yeah. Replace address. Replace.
Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen.
Goldberry Construction Limited say 3 to 5 bedroom finished apartment omotong e bono eda from krana sanso ena payment plan no very flexible. Number we from 020-703-6710. Pomodina from afin to say dino person see at the mount from start to finish on metimi aye the amount land registration have a dining renovation so on metimi aye sanso na a dining kratasembia and I say plan bianso on metimi at the amount building materials bianso on metimi amount be pomodina friend number we oh amatrophone 020-703-6710. Goldberry Construction Limited. I want to say see mommy while I was here I wait. Hey, now the day na me nipa bu afi. Na the RSM I be commande parade no. Kura no ni di beto dwa no. Na say Kofi say Addo di na so ma no ana because na di Addo. Ai RSM ni di Addo. Na Kofi say Addo di ana so ma no ana. Abuja Ghana ha de. On say ma ya Timi say yanka wasem bajo ha AHINTASEM TV asem wa Exp0se John Dramani Mahama akan any de ntia already issue cost no abusia are you in support of it anaze said the enkoda ne ka say oh 6 match de yenya ntum ne celebrate no oni omu nyina ɛyɛ adwene ja comment no ɛwɔ ha ɛfa ma me